So today we are going to discuss about the IP address and subnetting. Okay. So before we move into the actual topic, I would like to know what you mean by an IP address. The answer you have given it is right, but let me explain even more clear. Okay. So IP address is nothing but it is an address given to a computer to identify that particular computer over the network. Like we all have our address as our identification. What is our identification? Our identification is our address. It can be anything, right? You have multiple documents also for you to show that or to prove that you are belongs to this address. Similarly, imagine in the entire world or in the entire your network, when you have thousands or lakhs together of computers, how you will identify, okay, this is my computer and that is his computer, correct, right? So to identify the network devices or the computers over the network or over the internet, we will give the address, and that address called as IP address. So that is why we call it as internet protocol address. Okay. And another topic is that subnetting. That subnetting is nothing but it's the process of dividing larger network into small network. That is called as subnetting. I'll explain you in the upcoming slides. Okay. So so before we get into the actual thing, let us understand how many types of addresses we have. What do you mean by an address basically first? Okay, addressing you already know now. It is basically an identification. The computers will have two types of address, guys. The first one is physical address, another one is logical address. Physical is physical addresses. What do you mean by physical address? Any idea? So physical address is nothing but it is the address given to the computer hardware, and that address is globally unique. In the entire world, you will not have any other device with the same address. Means the manufacturer of the computer or of the devices will give an address, and that address we call it as physical address. Okay, that is once in lifetime. If a computer is there, means in the lifetime of the computer, that address is common, because that is not given to, it is not a logical address, it is a physical address given to the computer hardware. Where the address will be stored, where is the physical address will be stored? That physical address will be stored in the network interface card, that hardware. Okay, NIC card will be there, no? In that hardware it will be there. So if you have 10 network interface card in the computer, you will have 10 physical addresses, and for those 10 physical addresses, those address will never get changed. When the physical address will get changed? When you change the network interface card. Say for example, your Wi-Fi is not working, it always connects, but it will never allow you to browse the internet. Then if you take that laptop or desktop to the engineer, the hardware engineer, the hardware engineer will tell you that is having some problem, I need to change the Wi-Fi card. Then he will change the Wi-Fi card. Once he change the Wi-Fi card, then that address will be getting changed. What is that physical address? You can see here that physical address is this one. Okay, it will have 12 digit alpha numerical value. See, when you change the physical address, this address will be getting changed. See, you can see it's alpha numeric 12 digit, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12. It has got both alphabets and as well as numerical values. Okay, that is what I mentioned here. This physical address will also call it as a MAC address. MAC means it is media access control. It's a unique number which is used to track the devices on the network. It is called as physical address. In what circumstances or scenarios this physical address will be used? It will be used in the crime. Whenever there is a crime happened, people used to, or police used to track which computer, which IP address they were using, or in which network they were there. Imagine, you consider mobile phone. Even you have a single phone, the IMEI number of the phone will be same. Even though you are changing the number of SIMs, different SIM if you change also, that mobile has got a physical address, and physical address is called as IMEI number in the mobile. But in the laptop we called as physical address and MAC address. Okay, that never gets changed, and that is easy for tracking the device over the network. Okay, that's about the physical address. Moving on to the logical address. Logical address, it is like your temporary address. Like when you have a own house and you will have a permanent address. When you are in a rented house, you you have to keep on changing as and when you are changing the house. That is your logical address. So, say for example, you have a laptop and you have a Wi-Fi connection also at home. Broadband is there. When you connect to your broadband connection, you will get an IP address of your broadband range. What was that? Maybe it is 192.168.1.10. You will go to your office, then you will connect your office network, then the address will be changing to 172.16.100.10. So why it is? Because it is specific to the network. So as your logic, say for example, when you look at the problem, the logic that you will think to resolve the problem is different than the other person thinking, because it is belongs to your mind. So logical address is also same. Okay, it depends on the network, the IP address will be keep on changing. Okay, that is called as logical, and in the logical address only the IP address will come. Okay, the logical address is nothing but the internet protocol IP address, or internet protocol address, or IP address. I think it is clear. Any question here? So then I'll move on to the next slide. Now this IP address has got multiple classes actually. Okay, that's why when you go to the network interface card ncpa.cpl, and if I open a network interface card here, imagine I'll open this Ethernet protocol. Okay, you see here you have two things here. One is Internet Protocol version 4, another one is Internet Protocol version 6. Now let us understand what is IP version 4 and what is IP version 6. So this IP version 4, it's a 32-bit logical address. It's a 32-bit logical address given to the computer. Okay, it will have 4 octets. The IP version 6, it is a 128-bit alpha numeric and special characters involved. Why we have two versions here? See, currently in the globe, okay, we have limited IP address. IP version 4, it's very limited IP address. And now if you see, everybody started using multiple devices. See, why we need IP address? To have a device in the network. Earlier, if you go 10 years back, at least one house they have got only one mobile phone. But now if you look at, every person has got two phones, three phones, and everything device. They will have laptop, they will have desktop, they will have their mobile phones, they will have their smart TV, they will have their smart fan, they will have their smart cookers. Everything smart means everywhere internet is connected. So if you want to have internet, you should have an IP address. Imagine if you are keep on using the IP addresses so many, then one day this IP version 4 will get completely closed or empty. There is no free IP addresses. There is no IP address available for the upcoming generation or new devices. So thinking that, they have started inventing the IP version 6 for reserving the IP address for our future generation. Okay, then they have introduced the IP version 6. How the IP looks like? If I go to command prompt, I will show you the IP address of Facebook. How to check the IP address of a computer or a website? It's very easy. You have to type a command ns lookup and type facebook.com. You can you can type facebook.com, you will get IP address. See, the name is facebook.com and it has got the IP address. One is, this is IP version 6. You see, it's a bigger one. 2A032880 colon F144 colon 181 colon face colon B00C colon 0 colon 25DE. This is called your IP version 6. And I told another one, it's a 32-bit numerical number and it has got 4 octet. See here, 163.70.143.35. So there are 4 octet. 1, 2, 3, 4 means there are 4 numbers separated by a dot. That is called as 4 octet. Each number is 1 octet because it's a 32-bit, right? 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. 8 fours are 32. So that 32-bit they have divided into 4 octets. Octa means 8. So 8 fours are 32. That is why this IP version 4 will be looking like this. Any number you write, but the number should vary between 1 to 255. 1.2.3.4, 1.10.100.250, wrong address. 250 is the right address. If you cross the number, like maximum, the ranges should be like 255.255.255.255. If any number grows more than 255, then it's an invalid IP address. I'll show you why. Okay. So this is how the IP version 6, this is 6 actually, and this is 4 looks like. Okay. So let me go back to the screen. So that is what IP version 4 and IP version 6. Now you know IP version 4 is a limited number. It is a 32-bit numerical number. It has got 4 octet. Why are we moving towards IP version 6? Because for the future generation, in order to reserve free IP addresses, and we are planning towards IP version 6. Not everybody is currently using IPv6. Only big companies, they are using IP version 6. Small companies, and most of the 95% of the companies, they are still using IP version 4 only. Okay, IP version 6 is future. Okay, so next, now you know there are 2 versions. Now let us discuss more on the IP version 4 only. This IP version 4 further gets divided into 2 types of IP address. One is public IP, another one is private IP. So what is the difference, or what is public and private? Any idea, guys? So technically, public IP is nothing but it is an address available over the internet. It is exposed to the internet. Say for example, you have a public IP in your laptop. I don't need to have any connection. If I have internet, I can access your computer by sitting in my home. I can see the data, whatever data you have kept in your computer. I can take the data. I can even share the data to you. That is available, accessible from anywhere of the world if the internet is there. That is called as public IP. Private IP means is nothing but the IP address which will only enables you to communicate within your office network or within your private network. Okay, you can only access with the computers or with the users within this network. That's all in case of private IP. So public IP is a chargeable IP address. You have to pay for the public IP. If you want to buy one public IP, you need to pay this much amount per month or per year. Private IP are free IP addresses. You don't need to pay any IP address cost or charge, and that is used within your office network. And you are using within your office network, the security is high with respect to private IP address. But public IP, there is no security. Anybody can access. Imagine you have stored some username and password of your net banking. Anybody can access the computer and take the username and password. They can log into your net banking account and they can misuse your access. So public IP is chargeable IP addresses, more risk, security is less, and private IP is free IP addresses. Okay, and they will be able to allow you to communicate within the network, and security is more. Now whether it is a public IP or a private IP. This will get the IP address itself is getting classified into multiple classes. Okay, that is called as IP classes. Okay, so there are 5 different classes, okay, in the IP addresses. The one, this one I was explaining here, IP version 4 means it's an internet protocol version 4. It's a 32-bit logical address, 4 octet of each 8 bits. And I was referring 32 bits. See here, this 32 bits is nothing but, one second, I don't know why it is. Okay, see, I was referring 32 bit. So 32 bit is nothing but this one. Bits means what, guys? Bits means, or bytes means zeros and ones, because computer will only understand the numbers, that too not 1 to 100. It is only, and it will only understand zeros and ones. So that is why what we will do, we will, I told you it's a 32 bits. So 32 bits nothing but 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 8 bit, this is 8 bits, this is 8 bits, this is 8 bits. So each and every group has got 8 bits. So 8 is nothing but its octa. That is why we will call it as, each group of 8 bits we will call it as octet. What was it? Octet. Each one will call it as octet. Okay. So why it is octet? Because it has got 8 bits. Why we have given 8 bits? Because the total 32 bit we have segregated into 4 parts or 4 groups. Okay. Now I was referring, the IP address should always vary between 1 to 255. I told you now just before, the IP address will always vary between 1 to 255, means each octet value vary between 1 to 255, 1 to 255, 1 to 255, 1 to 255. And why not 256? Then a small explanation here. What I will do, I will just take this one octet. Okay, what I will do, I will explain more on how I can derive 255. Okay, imagine you have one octet here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there is a formula 2 to the power of n minus 1. If you apply this formula, n you have to replace by 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, imagine you have 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 3, 2 to the power of 4, 2 to the power of 5, 2 to the power of 6, 2 to the power of 7. So 2 to the power of 0 means it is how much? 1. This is 2. This is 4. This one is 8. This one is 16. This one is 32. This one is 64. This one is 128. And if you sum all these number, 256 will come. And what is the formula? 2 to the power of n minus 1. So if you minus 1, it is 255 will come. That is why the number will always vary between 1 to 255. If you see a IP address like this, say for example 1.2.3.4, will this formula applicable? You have 4 octet, 1.2.3.4, it is matching, and you have, and the number if you see it is vary between 1 to 255, then it is a valid IP address. Imagine you see another IP address with some other, I mean any octet. You see here 1.2.3.258. Is it a valid IP address? Guys, speak out. Is it a valid IP address?
No, sir.
Okay. So now 255 dot 255 dot 255 dot 255. This one?
Valid, sir.
Super. So now 255 dot 256, 255 dot 258. This is
Invalid, sir.
why invalid?
Because IP address ranges from 1 to 255, sir.
IP address ranges from
1 to 255.
super. So the understanding is correct here. I told you IPv4 will have 4 octet, and in all the IP addresses I have written, we have 4 octet. The first one, second one, third one, and fourth one. And the second condition, the address should always vary between 1 to 255. So the first IP address is matching. Second one, it is not matching because the first 3 octet are matching, fourth octet is 255, which is more than 255, it is not have matching. So it is invalid. The third one, 255, 255, 255, all the octets, 4 octets are there and the numbers are matching 255. So it's good, correct IP address, valid IP address. The last one, if you see, first octet is matching, second is not matching, third matching, fourth is not matching. Hence, it is not a valid IP address. So this is how the IP address will be derived. Hope this is clear. Okay, so now let us move on and understand the how many classes of IP address are there and how can I identify the IP address whatever I have written, it is belongs to which class of an IP address. Okay, so if you look at this chart here, you see there are 5 classes, guys. Class A, class B, class C, D and E. There are 5 classes in the IP address. Class A always vary the range before I move there. Okay, the class of the IP address will be identified based on the first octet of the IP address. Means, say for example, if I write an IP address 10.1.10.100, if you want to see the class of an IP address, you should always see the first octet of an IP address, this one. So the first octet will decide the IP addresses belongs to which class, or the first number of an IP address will tell you what is the class of an IP address. Hence, the range will be there is a range. Okay, if the first IP starts between 1 to 126, it is belongs to class A. The first octet vary between 128 to 191, then we call it as class B. Then the third one, 192 to 223, that belongs to class C. The class D and class E, okay, that is also 224 to 239, 240 to 255. You see, the number is first beginning with 1 and ending with 255, means because we only have the range between 1 to 255, and that range only we have now classified into 5 classes: class A, class B, class C, D and E. The first 3 classes are usable IP addresses. Anybody can use, whether it is a public IP or a private IP, anybody can use the first 3 classes. But class D and class E, I mean, the normal peoples cannot be usable. You are not supposed to use the last 2 classes of an IP address, because those IP addresses are kept for some multicasting and reservation or research purposes. They are still using this range to do their research more on the IP addresses. Okay, so we will only use the first 3 classes IP address, and you know the range: 1 to 126, 128 to 191, 192 to 223, 224 to 239, 240 to 255. 100% in each and every interview there are 2-3 questions on the IP addresses. Definitely this question will be there. What is the class of the IP addresses? Maybe today you get an interview or tomorrow you get an interview, 100% this question will be there. Okay, that's why IP address is the base, that is very important. Okay, so now you know A, B, C classes are usable. So let me write, I wanted to check how good understanding you have. I will write some IP addresses and you have to tell me whether it is usable or not. Okay, I mean what class this belongs to and valid IP address or not. Okay, so before that I will write conditions. The IP address should always vary between 1 to 255. Okay, and the range also. The class A belongs to 1 to 126. B belongs to 128 to 191. C belongs to 192 to 223. I only write three classes. Okay, other one I don't write because we only use first three classes. But you should know to answer in the interview. Okay, now let me write the IP addresses. I'll write the very simple one. Can somebody tell me, is it a valid IP address?
Yes, sir.
Is it belongs to which class?
Class A, sir.
Okay. Please others also try to talk. Okay. 1.1.1.1. This one.
Class A, sir.
Okay. Valid IP.
Yes, sir. Valid IP.
Which okay, fine. So now I will go like 100 dot 255 dot 200 dot 210. This is belongs to which class?
Class A, sir.
Valid,
Class A.
invalid?
Valid.
Valid, sir.
Okay. Now 127 dot 100 dot, okay, and 200 dot 100. This is belongs to which class? Is it valid IP?
Not valid.
Invalid, sir.
Why it is invalid?
Because 127 is not present in any classification
Exactly.
of outfits.
Exactly. See, if you look at in the classification of the IP address, I have not talked about 127 anywhere because it is 1 to 126 is there. After 126, I have not written 127. I have written 128. So this 127, it is actually an IP address, but it is not belongs to any of the classes. It's a valid IP address, but it does not belongs to any of the classes. Why? Because this 127 is classified as the loopback adapter. Means it is loop back adapter IP addresses. Then you may ask a question, sir, what is loopback adapter? See, every computer has got network interface card. Correct, na? Every computer will have network interface card. If there is no network interface card, that is not a usable computer. So this developer, what they have done to identify or to check the health of the network interface card, they have dedicatedly kept one range which is 127. If an IP address, if you type like 127 dot 100 dot any number you can type 200 dot 100. Okay, if you try to ping, ping is nothing but it's packet internet grouping. It's a command, packet internet grouping. And if you type IP address or the name of a computer or website, it will tell you whether the connection is there or not. See, the replay from that particular IP address is coming or not, means whether the connectivity is there or not. Okay, but if you look at the same IP address 127 100 200 100, I'm getting the response. Replay from this particular IP address. That means the network interface card is healthy. So to check the network interface card is valid or invalid or healthy or faulty, we can use this 127 IP address. You can put any number. Can somebody tell me one number? Tell me one loopback adapter IP address. Any number. Come on, guys. Hello. Fine. See, I'm just telling you to start a number with 127 and remaining octet you can put anything 1 to 255, any number you can put. You can,
127,
okay,
255.255.
255.255. See,
It's a loopback IP series.
even this is also you are getting response. But if you see what I will do, instead of that 255, if I put 257, see, ping request could not found the host 127, 100, 200, 257. Why? Because I have written 257, which is more than 255. Then it is called as invalid IP address. Okay. So now you know how to identify the IP addresses belongs to which class. Okay. One more. So this classes belongs to which one? 200.100.1.2. Which class this is belongs to?
Class C, sir.
Class C.
Huh?
Class C. Class B.
Class B, it is 200, na? It is class. No, no, it is class C. Sorry, it is
Sir,
class. It is class B
yes,
only.
sir.
It is class B. Okay. So now let me put um, class C. Sorry, this is class C, guys.
Sir,
Sir.
Class C,
Sir.
sir.
192, sir.
No, it is class C. It is 200, right? That is
Yes.
up to 191 is the class B.
191.
Yeah, right. So now 191 dot 191 dot 191 dot 191. Which this class is belongs to?
Class B.
Correct. So your
Class
understanding is
B.
correct. Now you are able to identify whether the IP address is valid IP address or which class it is belongs to. Okay. Now let us move on to the slide. Okay. So this is clear. Now you know all the classes and the ranges. Okay. And now you are able to identify what is loopback adapter IP address, all those things. Okay. Now you will be able to identify all the things related to IP address except one thing. Okay, what is that one thing? You are not able to identify the IP address belongs to public or private. Correct, na? And I told you the IP, public IP is a chargeable IP and private IP is a free IP. Then you should be able to identify which is public IP and which is private IP and which is free IP and which is chargeable IP. Correct, right? So in each classes, I told you we can only use three classes A, B, C. In each classes, the developer has reserved one range of IP address to private usage. Apart from that, any number if you see, the IP address belongs to that particular number. Okay. In the class A, the first octet is 10. If the IP address that is starting with 10, in the class B, if you are writing an IP address that is starting with 172, in the class C, if an IP address which is starting with 192, only these three numbers are valid for private IP addresses. Apart from this 10, 172, 192, if you write any number or any IP address that is starting with apart from these three numbers, those are public IP addresses. Okay. Now tell me, I will write one IP address. Is it public or private? Okay. 10 dot 11 dot 12 dot 13. Is it, what is this IP address?
Private, sir.
Private, sir.
Okay. Now 11 dot 12 dot 13 dot 14.
It's public, sir.
Public.
Super. So now 172 dot 16 dot 100 dot 200.
It's private, sir.
Okay, now 190.190.255.200.
It's public, sir.
Okay, so 190.168.100.100.
It's private, sir.
Yeah, you should always see the first numbers. Okay, because I told you the class of an IP address and the public or private IP, that decision will happen only on the first octet of the IP address. The first octet is very important. Okay, the first octet will tell you whether the IP address is belong to which class. The first octet will tell you whether the IP address is a public IP or a private IP address. It's clear
Yes,
now.
sir.
Yes.
And I will take you to the Facebook website, and you see Facebook IP is what? Okay, ns lookup facebook.com. If you see, it is 163, correct now? Is it a public or private?
Public,
It's a
sir.
public, sir.
Public.
Public.
Since it is a public IP address, I, you, and everybody are able to access the Facebook application. Correct, huh? If it is started with 10 or 172 or 191, okay, 192, then you would have, if you want to access that application, you should have visited your office, because the communication will be there within your office and it is not exposed to internet. Likewise, if you see Google also, google.com, see, it is 142. If you go to Instagram also, see, it is 163. Why? Because 163, you know why it is 163? Because Facebook and Instagram both are same company. They have acquired, no? That is why you see that both are same. 163, 163, 70, 70, and here 139, 139. After the last octet, you see 35 and 174. The it is belongs to the same IP subnet. The last IP is changing, 35 and 174, because they are both Facebook only. See here also same, IPv6, it is face is there. Here also you have face. Okay, because both Instagram and Facebook are both are the same company. They have acquired, no? Facebook has acquired Insta. So now I think you're good. You're able to identify the IP address classes, the private IP, public IP, and loopback adapter, everything. Okay. Now, you may ask a question, sir, why do we classify the IP addresses in classes? Why can't we just leave as it is? See, the IP address means, I was previously I told you, IP address means it has got 4 octets and depend upon the numbers, like IPv4 for the smaller number, IPv6 for the larger number, correct na? And if you want to effectively use, there should be a classification. And why we have classified the IP addresses, let me explain. So if you write an IP address like 10.100.100.10, this IP address will have two portion in the IP addresses. One is network, another one is host. So network means always represents 1. Network will be always represented by 1. Host will be always represented by 0. Okay, and in this box you see class A, class B, class C. The first octet out of 4 octet, the first octet is n. Means in the first class A, the first octet is reserved or kept for the network. And host means it is computer. Okay. So this class A, class B, class C is classified into 3 classes, and each and every IP address is divided by network and host bits. So network bit represented by 1 and host bit represented by 0. So if you need more number of network, you should select where you have more number of n's. If you need more number of computers, you should go for the class where you see more number of h's. Okay, I'll make it even more simple. You have started a small company. Okay, you have only two offices, one is in Hyderabad and one is in Bangalore. But in that company, you have lakhs together engineers are there. In Hyderabad also have around 2 lakhs peoples, and in Bangalore also have 2 lakhs peoples, but locations, only 2 locations are there. That means you have 2 networks, but more number of engineers are there. Engineers means more number of laptops and more number of computers are there. Can you please tell me, if that is the case, which class of an IP address that you opt? You need more numbers of users, I mean computers, but less number of networks. Can somebody tell me which class you ideally pick up in this scenario?
Class
Class
B,
A,
sir.
sir.
Class A, because you have more number of computers they are there. You need small number of networks, correct na? So that is the reason you will go for first option. And second, you have started a company, you don't know how long and all you will establish. Today you are in Bangalore, tomorrow you may go to Mysore or Hyderabad, Delhi, Pune. You have a plan of establishments, but there is no clarity, and you don't know how many engineers are you are going to deploy in each location, but you have a plan. That time you will go with the class B, because there you have equal number of networks and equal number of computers also. But in the class C, you are very clear, I am going to start offices in multiple cities, multiple location, but in the offices you will have very small number of users. Imagine you have your Airtel outlet or Vodafone outlet or your DTDC or professional couriers. Every area you will see the offices. But how many members will be there? Hardly 2 to 3 engineers will be there, or workers will be there. Hardly 2 to 3 computers will be there. Their vision is clear. I am going to create multiple number of offices, but less number of engineers or users will be there in each offices. So that time what they will do, because they need more number of networks, so they will go for class C IP addresses. Okay, and each and every class will have its subnet mask, means it will tell you the which class or which subnet it is belongs to, which network it is belongs to. If you put this formula, network is represented by 1 and host is represented by 0, here what happens, that n, imagine in the n you will put all the 1 and h you will put all the zeros. That formula was there, no? This one, this formula octets. Okay, let me write first here. So what happens here, if I put 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So if you put all the ones, that means it is 255 will come if you do 2 to the power of n minus 1. But if you are putting 0, means it is 0 0 0. But in the class B, there are 2 places n is there. So means here also 255, here also 255, rest is 0 0 in class B. But in class C, it is 3 places 255 is there, 255 dot 255 dot 255 dot 0. This is how the subnet mask will be derived. Same you see here. The first octet 8 bit, 2 to the power of n minus 1, if you put the formula, it will 255. Class B, see, 16 bits are for network. Here 8 bits for network. Here 24 bits for network. 8 bit for host, 16 bit for host, and 24 bits for host. Okay. So this is how the subnet mask will be derived. Then you may ask, sir, how I will get more number of IP addresses in NHHH? Okay, let me take you to the OneNote. This is very, very important. Okay, imagine I am in the class A. 10.0.0.0. This is my class A, because in the class A, first octet only for network. This is the formula, no? N 0, sorry, N H H H. This is the formula. First octet is only for the network, where I will put ones, remaining all 000, that means H. So how the first IP address will be starting here? See here, 10.0.0.1. This is your first IP address. Second IP address 10.0.0.2. Third IP address is 10.0.0.3, and it will up to 10.0.0.255. As soon as you are reaching the upper ceiling limit 255, then the next IP will be like this, 10.0.1.0, then 10.0.1.1. It is not, this is the network one, so 1.1 I could say it is 1.1, this is 1.2, then 10.0.1.3. So now it will go 10.0.1.255. Now the next type is 10.0.2.1, then 10.0.2.2, 10.0.2.3. Now it will go 10.0.2.255. Till how many IP address it will go? It will go, this is becomes 10.0.255.255. Then the third one start. How it is? Now 10.1 dot, okay, 255.255. Okay, so the last IP address will be like 10.255.255.255. So if 24 bits are there, you will get around 65,000 IP addresses. The class A will give you not 60, it is more than that. 16 is will give you, one second, let me go to the slide. See here. So 24 bits for network. Okay, this is for the network. So 24 means it is this many IP address will get. Okay, you have to write one after the other. This is the maximum limit of the IP addresses. Okay. So 24 means /8, sorry, /8 is for the network, /8 is for the network. Okay, 8 4s are 24, no? So /8 is for the network. So /8 network will give you these many number of IP addresses. Okay. So 16,777K IP address you will get it. If it is a /8, means the one, if you write this IP addresses, you will get that much of IP addresses, whatever the figure I told you. Okay, this is clear now how the IP address will be written. But in other one you will not have, because here 3 octets are there for the network. Okay, but in the class B, if you see, you will have N H H. So if that is the case, imagine if I take 10.0. 10.11.0.0. This is the IP address. The maximum IP address will be like 10.11.0.1 first IP. Last IP is the 10.11.0.255. Then it should go like 10.11. Here this should become last IP address. 10.11.255.255. Only this only the last two octets will become 255. Till then your will be ranges. You will only get around 64,000 you will get. If you see here /16, 64,000 you will get it. 65,000. See, this is your 24 network. See, if you give 8 bits for the network, 24 bit for the host, 24 bits for the network, you will only get 254 IP address, because there more number of networks will be there. If you give only 16 bits for the network and 16 bits for the computer, you will get 65,534. If you give only 8 bits for the network, remaining for the computers, then you will get this one. You can even further increase. If you need more, instead of leaving 8, you can go for 7. If you need less number, if you only need 2 networks, okay, remaining everything for the computer, then you will get this much. Okay, based on the requirement, this subnet can be adjusted. Okay, the CIDR means it's classless inter-domain routing. People will say, what is CIDR? CIDR means you are representing slash and some number that will tell you which class or which subnet this IP address belongs to. So CIDR means it is classless inter-domain routing. Classless inter-domain routing. Okay, so this is what the IP address is all about. Okay, so next one is the last small thing is there. Okay, that is called as subnetting. So subnetting is nothing but the process of dividing bigger network into small network. Okay, so imagine you have, your parents has got 2 kids. You and your brother is there. So they have some property. What they will do? They will divide the property and share it to you accordingly. Correct, right? For why? For effective usage of it. Okay, they have some good business, multiple business are there. So they will divide the businesses and give it to you so that you can effectively manage them. Correct? Huh? So that is why for effective utilization of the IP addresses, you can do subnetting. That is why I have shown you this one. If you need more number of networks, you can adjust the CIDR value. If you need more number of computers, accordingly you can mention, you can use the CIDR and make the subnets. So this is all networking concept. This is all actually CCNA concept. But I wanted to explain you should know why this number will be vary between 1 to 255 only, how it is derived. Okay, what is subnetting, how this 255 comes, what is the subnet mask, all these things I wanted to explain you. That is the reason I explain you this one. Otherwise this is actually a topic of CCNA, the pure networking. Okay, so I think hope this is clear for you guys. So with that, I think IP address is done. Any question? I can just stop the recording. I can take the questions later. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.